good morning, and welcome, folks. Before we get too much into the airplane, I want to go to my flight configuration. And get the weight and balance correct according to my sim brief. I need, oh my goodness, you know, in all the excitement, I forgot what I need. Let's take a look. I need block fuel 9211 and ramp weight is 701.89. 9211 and 701.89. So let's take care of the fuel first. 9211 total on the fuel. There's 9247, looks pretty good. And what was that ramp weight one more time? It was 701.89. So I'm going to increase the payload until the total weight is 701.89. Looks like 699.78 is going to be close enough. Wonderful. It's early morning in Liverpool, England at the John Lennon Airport. We are in a Ryanair flight. I can feel them. The airplane bounce underneath me as I got that fuel load aboard. It was an EasyJet parked in a very inconvenient spot. But the great thing about being here is that we can see the famous yellow submarine out there in the drive. Also, it's a very colorful, seems to be a very colorful place. This is Payware Airport, and it certainly has done justice to it. Quite like a number of European airports. It doesn't come with a jet bridge, so let's get some ground handling out here. How about some air stairs and maybe a bus? My limo, the cruise shuttle, baggage loaders, and some baggage. Great, let's drive them up. Oh, by the way they're positioned on the road and in the entryway, it looks like they were designed for this airport. That's really nice. Although I think this minivan's going to get clobbered. Yeah, he did. He got clobbered. That minivan might get clobbered again. Well, it looks like the bus missed him, at least temporarily. let's climb aboard, open up the bay doors, open up the entry doors and the cargo doors. Great. Wonderful. Seems like a pleasant day, so not much problem with having the doors open this morning. Good morning, Christy. Ready for a nice flight? Let's look upstairs. Oh, we don't have power or air. The last flight I made it for the first time not using the APU. That was kind of fun. I think I'll do that again. So let's check the ground power unit and the air compressor unit. Have those two, and we won't need an APU. We now have ground power available. I'm going to turn the battery switch on, turn on the ground power, get the position light on, let folks around the aircraft know that we're on it, the airplane. Wing lights on, any collision light on, logo light on. Arm the emergency exits. Turn on the window heat. And get the ADIRS, not the ADIR system, the IRS system aligned. Align and nav on the number 1, align and nav on the number 2. Spin this lower dial and we can see that we've got 9 minutes in the align process. We'll test out the leading edge flaps, leading edge devices and flaps, at least the lights. Make sure we have 3 down and green on the landing gear. I'll come down here and also make sure that the throttle handles are in the idle position. Fuel cutoff. Parking brake is on. We have 3 green on the landing gear. Landing gear handle is down. Let's also check the chocks. Yes, chocks are installed. Service interphone is off. Backup radio is in the public address position. Emergency locator transmitter is in the reset and guarded position. Flight recorder is in the normal position. Mach airspeed warning test. Number 1 is good. Number 2 is good. Might be too early for the stall warning test. Let's check. Yeah, too early for the stall warning test. We'll come back to that in a bit. Passenger oxygen is normal and guarded. Dome light, we can turn that on. Navigation switches are navigation, flight management computer, and radio switches are all in the normal position. Spoilers, flight controls, alternate flaps are all in the normal position and guarded. Standby power switches in the guarded position. Chimes on, seatbelt sign on. Turn up some of these lights. We're going to hold off on the air conditioning packs for right now. Let's make sure our Pressurization system is in the auto position, and we'll get altitude for Liverpool Airport. Elevation 82 feet. So the closest increment to that is 100, just in case we need to come back for a landing. You know, I've forgotten what our cruise altitude is going to be today. Flight level 350. 310 at 25 and positive 4 on the ISA. 310 at 25 and positive 4. 350. Let's go down to our flight computer. Flight management computer. Verify the aircraft. Verify the thrust rating. Verify the AIRAC nav cycle. That is current. Position initialization. Reference airport is Echo Golf Golf Papa. I think we're at gate 5. Here's our last position. Here's the airport reference. My goodness, they're not really close to each other, are they? That's a little scary. Maybe the airplane was towed overnight over to a hangar or some other place, but it's a little off. Let's go to the next page, grab one of our GPS coordinates back, and we'll put it in. And this lines up more correctly with the airport than our last position. That last position is quite a bit. That's not even on the airport proper. That's a different part of the world. It's still, well, I'd like to say it's still in this hemisphere, but it's quite a distance away. Okay, routing. Our destination is LOWW, and our routing. Oops. Let's get the origin in there first. LOWW. And our, usually I would type in the routing, but this routing is rather complex, and it's quite long. I'm going to let SimBrief do the work. Let's go to Google, SimBrief, dispatch, log in, view last flight, here's our routing. That's a big, long monster, and I don't want to type in that. And of course, in Europe, it's still, these are 5-letter identifiers, just like in North America, but in Europe, they're not as much fun. In North America, most of these waypoints will have 5 letters that try in some way, shape, or form to make a word, but that's not necessarily true in Europe. You can see they're 5-letter designators, but you can't really pronounce any words out of them. There are a couple of them, Gimbo and Ladtag and Measure and Tempta, but some of these are not. So, without even trying, I am going to go down here to Explain, download, here it comes. Okay, it's ready, and let's open up a file. Oops. Explain output. FMS plans, and I'm going to drag our current FMS plan into this folder, just like that. And I think I can close that, minimize this. And now if I go to Echo, Golf, Papa, Lima, Oscar, Whiskey, 01, oops, not 81, 01, and I put in company route, activate, execute. Now let's just make sure it's in there. Next page. Yes, here it is. Page 2 of 7. There are 7 pages. My goodness gracious me. I'm glad I didn't type all that in. Let's look and see if we have a SID or a star in the routing. We do have a SID, Standard Instrument Departure Route. It's the BART 1V SID. So we'll get that in there. Departure. There's the BART 1V. And we are on runway 27 today. Oh, it only allows runway 9. That's interesting. How about if we do this? Okay, now we're on the BART 1V using runway 9. Let's validate that flight plan. Let's file that, connect to the simulator. Then I can file that flight plan. And if you want to see what I've done, I'll move the screen over here temporarily. So you can see here's our routing. East on runway 9. Several waypoints around the Liverpool area and across England. Then making landfall just south of Amsterdam, crossing the meat of Germany, the widest part of Germany, and into Austria. And this looks massively complex. What is going on here? Wow, I don't fully understand why we are doing all this Mickey Mouse stuff over here. But that's what we were given by SimBrief. Can we clean that up a little bit? I want to clean that up quite a bit. Let's see. Let's really clean this up. Let's get rid of WW974. That seems to be trouble. WWW974. Let's just delete that puppy. And we'll get rid of WW975. And 973 and 977. Now you got to be careful with this, because remember, when you're removing waypoints, you're also removing constrictions that might help you in the descent. So let's... We're coming in on runway 34. Oh. I'm sorry, 16. We're coming into runway 16, which will be okay. Here's the airport, and we're coming in on 16. This is really rather funky. So let's get rid of 972 and 979. And 971 and 981. And Tavka, and WW400, and 673 and 674. And six, 7, 2, and 672 and 676. Okay, we're making progress. Yes, we're looking better. Okay. And we don't need Maybod. And we don't need 692. Now I know why there were 7 pages. This is just insane, all this turning back and forth and around. We don't need 440. Or 588. Or is that might be 688. There it goes. Or what is this one here? $983. Or 678. Or 680. Or 671. Or F116. Okay, this looks manageable. Okay, this will be fine. Come in from the west, head due south. Looks like there's a... and then runway 16. Okay, that's acceptable. Now that's not going to be changed in the flight management computer. The flight management computer is still going to have all those 17 pages. We can change that in the air. We can streamline that in the air. Ah. Wonderful. Zero fuel weight, we corrected that. Recommended flight level 410. I think I mentioned our planned flight level was 390, if I remember correctly. Let's look. 350, 310 at 25 for the winds, +4 for the ISA. 310 at 25 for the winds, +4. So flight level is 350. $310 at 25 for the winds. And +4 for the ISA deviation. I don't know what the transition altitude in Austria is. I think it might be I'm gonna put in 7,000. I think Germany is 7,000 and Austria might be the same. I'm gonna put in 7,000 for the transition altitude. I believe that's correct. Actually, I have never in my life looked at a European JEP chart. So let's see what JEP says about it. JEP it's not the end-all be-all. Of course, the government publications would be the end-all be-all. But Jeppesen is a private company that specializes in making approved by the government charts. So here's our routing from SimBrief. Now see, that routing doesn't look so terribly bad. That's actually very similar to how I edited the routing. Coming in from the west, due south, then north, and then approaching for runway 16. So that's exactly what I set up the air traffic control to do. I don't feel so bad about that. I wonder where the transition altitude would be published. This is the low en route chart, and there is no procedure. Maybe it's on the approach. Let's go to the approach charts, and we're looking for ILS runway 16. With the goodness, I'm not sure which transition. Let's look at the NURDU. Is NURDU an option? Yes, NURDU. Yeah, NURDU just gave us those squiggles that we didn't want, didn't it? Let's ILS 16. Let's choose a different. Let's get rid of that. Oops, I can't. We'll just put final. There we go. That's cleaner. And so, can I see that chart? I want to see that chart. Transition altitude, transition level by ATC, but it's published at 10,000 feet. So, unless told otherwise by ATC, I'm going to use 10,000 feet, and I'm glad I took the time to look at that. We're going to have a D-rated takeoff today. Climb 2, rated at 20. Actually, no. We're at a smaller airport. 26,000 pounds thrust, no D-rate, and no shallow climb. Flaps 15 will be a good setting. I had a problem with this last time. I really want a trim setting. I got it. Okay, 3.25 on the trim. Let's verify our V speeds. That's so important. My co-pilot, she will have my butt if I don't have a good trim setting. And speaking of trim setting, let's go ahead and put that in right now while I'm remembering. She will be unforgiving if my trim setting is not handled. There's 4, 375, 350. I'm going to call that 325. Hopefully she will agree. And we are set for departure. 130 is our V2 speed. Let's go ahead and put that up in the mode control panel. Flight director's on. Rejected takeoff on the brakes. Let's come back up here and do our stall warning, see if that's come alive yet. I bet it has. It's very faint, but I can hear it. It shouldn't be that faint. There we go. That's what you want to hear in the stall warning test. Let's do a lights test. Check every bulb in the house, every filament, every LED. No burnt bulbs allowed, no bad indications. Every light is illuminated. Lights test is good. Let's check the lights test on the autopilot indicator lights, both pilot flying and not pilot not flying side. That is good. We will do a systems check.
Flight slow. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Obstacle. Obstacle. Pull up. Airspeed low.
Check out the bulbs here on the master caution. Those bulbs all seem to be good. Do the other side. That's all good. Let's do a fire test. Fire in the wheel well. Engine fire test. We'll do a landing gear warning test. That's fine. We'll test the alarm in the cargo hold. That's good. I think it's time to get a clearance. I don't think that this airport, it has a European thing called radar control. I'm not really sure what radar control does. But I do know they have a ground frequency, and either we'll get our clearance from the ground frequency or they will tell us where to get the clearance from. So let's try to get a clearance. I've got to configure this. Last time I flew, I was American Airlines, and we sure don't want them calling us American Airlines. Liverpool ground, Ryanair 4-3, ready to copy.
Ryanair 4-3 is cleared to Lima Oscar Whiskey Whiskey, climb via the BART 1V departure, with the BART transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 09. Climb to flight level 100 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 6 minutes after departure. Squawk 3054.
Ryanair 4-3 is cleared to Lima Oscar Whiskey Whiskey, climb via the BART 1V departure, with the BART transition, then as filed. Climb to flight level 100 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 6 minutes after departure. Squawk 3054.
Ryanair 4-3 reevac correct. Altimeter 3059 let us know when you're ready for pushback.
Altimeter 3059 Ryanair 4-3.
.3059er on the pressure setting. That is a North American convention, but it's a very high pressure day. That's indicative of really good weather.
Delta 1916, monitor tower 125.32.
Delta 1916, good day.
And again, if we didn't know that pressure setting, but we did know field elevation, what we would do is we would just spin that pressure dial until field elevation showed up in this window, and then you would know that you had the correct pressure setting. Let's make sure that transponder is in the traffic advisory mode, and we'll remember to put it into TARA before takeoff. Christy, are you ready to run a checklist? Let's start out with a pre-flight checklist.
Pre-flight checklist. Voice recorder.
Voice recorder is checked and normal. Set on.
Oxygen.
Oxygen, you know, you caught me again. I don't know if I tested my oxygen. There, you can hear the air whistling through it. Wow. There it is. 100% on this side.
Tested 100%. Navigation and display switches.
Navigation and display switches are normal.
Normal, auto. Window heat.
Window heat is on.
On. Pressurization mode selector.
Pressurization is to auto.
Auto. Flight instruments.
Flight instruments are course is 280. Altitude is 40 feet. Baro setting is 3059.
Heading 356. Altitude 43.
Delta 533, follow the 75, monitor tower
Altimeter
125.32.
3058. Parking brake.
Parking brake is set.
Engine start levers.
Engine start levers are cut off.
Pre-flight checklist completed.
Wonderful. Let's finish up with our passengers. And I'm going to start in American mode, but I'm going to switch it over to British. We'll switch it to British.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final boarding station of the flight. Please proceed with the departure gate. Thank you and have a pleasant journey.
The baggage is all loaded, buses are empty. Let's tell these folks that they have done a good job and send them on their way.
Cabin crew, doors to automatic, please. Cross-check and report. Cabin crew, arm doors for departure.
Delta 1379, 5 North uniform.
Delta 1379, round, roger.
Have gate departure.
Ladies and gentlemen, the aircraft doors have now closed, so at this time, all electronic equipment needs to be turned off and left off until 10 minutes into our flight. If you came on board with a mobile phone, please check that now, and make sure it's turned off and left off until you are in the terminal. My name is Francisca, and on behalf of the entire crew, we would like to welcome you aboard. In just a moment, we will be showing you a very important safety video. We ask for a few minutes of your undivided attention for this important message. Thank you, and again, welcome on board.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. On behalf of all the crew, welcome on board this flight. We expect to be departing on schedule today, and weather en route is looking pretty smooth. Shortly, the cabin crew will be showing you a safety demonstration. This is for your safety and for those around you, so please give them your full attention. Once again, you're all very welcome on board.
Looks like we've got a good group. Liverpool ground, Ryanair 4-3 requests pushback and engine start.
Skywest 30.
Ryanair 4-3 pushback and engine start approved.
Pushback and engine start approved. Ryanair 4-3.
3027,
Before
at
start
ramp 3 now,
checklist.
join Echo.
Alright, ramp 3, join Echo, status 3027.
Papers.
Papers are on board.
Flight deck door.
Flight deck door is open, but we can take care of that. There it goes. It's closed.
Closed and locked.
Yes.
Fuel.
Fuel is 91 and change.
Pumps on.
Good job.
Passenger signs.
Passenger signs are set.
On. Window.
Windows are locked.
Locked. MCP.
MCP Mach is 130, heading is 090, and altitude is 10,000 feet.
Speed 130. Heading 90. Altitude 10,000. Takeoff speeds.
Takeoff speeds are 115 on the V1, 116 on the rotate, and 130 on the V2.
V1 115. V-rotate 116. V2 130. CDU pre-flight.
Completed.
Completed. Rudder and aileron trim.
Rudder and aileron trim are set.
Taxi and takeoff briefing.
Taxi and takeoff briefing. I didn't do one,
Anti-collision light.
but we'll be okay. You take care of that for me, will you please?
On. Before start checklist completed.
Okay, let's get that tug over here.
476 at ramp 1, give way to the outbound 75, then join Foxtrot to the ramp.
Alright, at ramp 1, give way to the outbound 75, then Foxtrot ramp 1847.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
We are on external power. One thing we do need to do is get the APU started. Oh, I take that back. We weren't going to do the APU. Remember, we weren't going to do the APU. Yeah, let's not do the APU. Remember. Oh, well, he's going to tug us. Wait, I better start the APU because I'll start the APU. Just the only reason I'm doing it is so that I can do engine start during the pushback. If we...
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Yeah, when we did it last time, we didn't use a pushback, so it didn't matter so much. But now it matters. APU is available. Let's transfer power. And now we can get rid of the cart. Disconnect the GPU and disconnect the ASU, the air pressure in the cart.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release
Delta
parking brake.
3279 ground runway 8 right, taxi via Echo and hold short of ramp 4.
Echo shorter ramp 4, Delta 1379.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard our flight today. Every member of our team is here to ensure that your journey is as pleasant and as
Dual
comfortable
bleed.
as possible. We are honoured that you have chosen to fly with us. Thank you.
Packs
Safety
off.
and comfort are our
Pressure
top
coming up.
priorities. So before the aircraft takes off,
Number
please
2
pay
engine
attention
to
to the
ground.
following safety instructions. Please keep your seatbelt fastened while seated. It can be fastened and unfastened like this. We recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times as turbulence can occur unexpectedly. In the unlikely event of a sudden loss of air pressure, oxygen masks will drop from the panel above your seat. Remain seated and pull the mask towards you. Press it against your nose and mouth and continue
Fuel
to
to
breathe.
number 2
You
engine.
must fit your own mask on before helping others near you. A life jacket is stowed under your seat. When instructed to do so by the crew, pull the life jacket over your head, attach the strap to the hook in the front, and pull tight to adjust it to your waist. Before leaving the aircraft, pull the red toggle sharply towards you to inflate the jacket. If you leave the aircraft via an emergency
Switch
exit
to number
over
1
the
engine.
wing window, please inflate your jacket outside. If necessary, you can top up the air through the tube. Every life jacket has
So
a
the
lamp
1973
which
at
lights
ramp
up
5,
in
give way to an outbound 73.
All emergency
All
exits
1973.
include a luminous exit indicator. Photoluminescent strips on the floor will guide you to these exits. Do take time to locate the nearest
25%
exit.
on the N2.
It may be located
We'll
behind
provide
your
some
seat.
fuel.
To review these instructions, please refer to the safety card in the seat pocket in front of you. This or any other flight is a non-smoking flight. To bring you closer to the place of your bring you closer to the runway. Flying further each and every day in the comfort and safety. That's our commitment to you. Enjoy your journey. Thank you for your attention.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Parking brake is set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Let's do a flight control check. Elevator down. Neutral. Elevator up. Neutral. Right aileron. Neutral. Left aileron. Neutral. Right rudder. Neutral. Left rudder. Neutral. And for you, Christy, spoilers. And spoilers off. Pitot static heat on. Hydraulics on. Dual bleed off. Isolation valve auto. Packs on. Taxi light on. Runway turn off lights on.
Ground, you got Super Tug 1, Delta North.
Transfer onto the engines.
88, ramp number 1, please.
APU
Tug 1,
off.
Roger, turn right on Alpha and hold short of runway 8 left at the approach end. Okay, we'll join Alpha and hold short of 8 left at the approach end, Tug 1. Tug 1, monitor tower 119.1. 19-1, Tug 1.
We're looking pretty good. Ready for another checklist, Christy? Before taxi checklist.
Before taxi checklist. Generators.
Generators are on.
On. Probe heat.
Probe heat is on.
On. Anti-ice.
Anti-ice is off.
Wing anti-ice off. Engine anti-ice off. Isolation valve.
Isolation valve is on auto.
Auto. Engine start switches.
Engine start switches are... Why don't you go ahead and put them in continuous? There you go. Continuous and continuous. Thank you.
Continuous. Recall.
Recall is checked.
Checked. Auto brake.
Auto brake is in RTO.
Rejected takeoff. Engine start levers.
Engine start levers are in idle detent.
Flight control.
Flight controls have been checked.
Checked. Flaps.
Flaps. I want them at 15.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do thank you very much for your attention, and now we invite you to sit back, relax and enjoy the takeoff. We'll give you a little more information about our service plan for our flight as soon as we are in the air. Thank you, and again, welcome.
Right, give way to the regional jet, and turn right on Foxtrot, and then ramp 3, join Echo.
Give way to the RJ Foxtrot 3 to Echo, Delta 1083.
Flaps 15 set. Flaps 15 set. Green light. Detent. Ground equipment.
Ground equipment is clear.
Clear. Before taxi checklist completed.
Wonderful. And let's get a taxi clearance. Liverpool ground, Ryanair 4 tree,
Ladies and gentlemen,
taxi,
we'll shortly be dimming the cabin
runway
lights to take off, once again for landing.
09.
If you wish to read, then a reading light can be found in the panel above you.
How about another checklist, Christy?
Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
Flaps set. 15. Detent green light.
Horizontal stabilizer trimmer not set for takeoff.
I knew you were going to be picky about that.
Flaps 15 set. Green light. Detent. Stabilizer trim.
3.25 set, but you're not going to like
Is
it.
not set for takeoff position.
I knew you wouldn't like it. Let's work on that. 325.
Before
is where it
takeoff
should be.
checklist is not completed.
How about if we go right here? Will that make you happier? Let's try it again.
Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
15. Set. Detent.
Ground Delta 805,
Flaps
Vector
15
loop for,
set. Green
Ryanair
light.
43
Detent.
contact tower on 126.35. Enjoy your morning.
Stabilizer trim. Tower on 126.35. Ryanair 432 units set.
You like that?
Transponder.
Transponder. Why don't you put that in TARA mode for us?
TARA set. Before takeoff checklist completed.
Wonderful. Landing lights on. Let's start the clock. Liverpool Tower, Ryanair 4 ready for departure, runway 9.
Ryanair 4-3 contact ground on 121.905. Have a good morning.
Contact ground on 121.905 Ryanair 4-3.
I don't want ground, I want tower. Liverpool Tower, Ryanair 4 ready for departure, runway 9.
Ryanair 4-3 winds are light and variable, cleared for takeoff. Runway 09.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 09 Ryanair 4-3.
We are doing a toga takeoff today.
Tower Option 910, Keurig inbound.
Option 910, Tower 737, traffic short, final wind calm, cleared to land, runway 24 left.
Cleared to land, 24 left, Option 910.
Takeoff thrust set.
80 knots.
80 knots. Throttle hold.
V1 rotate. Positive rate.
Gear
Positive
up.
rate.
Gear up. Flaps up.
400.
LNAV. VNAV.
Flaps
1000.
1 set. Runway turn off, lights off. Taxi lights off.
Ryanair 4-3 contact Manchester Center on 118.77. Enjoy your morning.
Center on 118.77 Ryanair 4-3. Center Ryanair 4-3 climbing to flight level 100.
Ryanair 4-3, good morning. Radar contact.
Kilometer from 4, speed down to 50 and descent level 70.
After takeoff checklist.
Level 70, KLM 174.
Engine bleeds. On. Packs. Auto. Landing gear.
Landing gear is up.
Ryanair 43 descend and maintain 4,000 feet until passing Delta 081 Tango.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Ryanair 43, 1,000 to level off.
You're the one who cleared me to 10,000, buddy. Don't blame me if I bust it.
Approaching transition. Transition level.
He wants us at 4,000 until Martin. I don't even think we can get down to 4,000.
Cathay 2711, continue with good road descent please, at least 2,000 feet a minute.
2,000 feet per minute, Cathay 271.
Manchester Center, Ryanair 43, requests flight level 350.
Ryanair 43 climb and maintain flight level 350.
Oh, that was easy.
Climb and maintain flight level 350, Ryanair 43.
Goedemorgen, Gladiator 5 Alpha, climbing flight level 130, Evolute.
Good afternoon, Alpha, climb level 250.
Climb flight level 250, Gladiator 5 Alpha.
Going up. Transition altitude. Let's go over to standard.
Approaching transition.
Standard set.
Approaching transition. Transition altitude.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now passed the altitude of 10,000 feet. All electronic devices may now be switched off from airplane mode. This aircraft is equipped with Wi-Fi. Please see a flight attendant for more information.
After takeoff checklist, below the line.
This checklist cannot be performed in flight.
After takeoff checklist, below the line. Are you telling me you cannot do an after takeoff checklist while you're in flight? That doesn't make any sense at all.
This checklist cannot be performed in flight.
Let's find our landing altitude at our destination.
Kilometer to 8 kilo, descend level 100.
Level 100, kilometer to 8 kilo.
LOWW is Vienna. 600 feet. So let's set our pressurization panel for the landing altitude, 600 feet. And let's set our decision height for 800 feet. Let's enjoy some eye candy. There we go. Looks like a little frost on the surface. Probably getting kind of cold up here. England looks fantastic thanks to Orbix.
Goedemorgen, Transavia 3 Alpha, out of level 55 for 130.
Transavia 3 Alpha, climb level 250.
Level 250, Delta Avian 3 off.
We're expecting the ILS to runway 16 off the MAB 6L arrival.
Kelly 271, could you confirm routing after Artib? After Artib, fly to Sierra Papa Lima. Pittsburgh, Sierra Papa Lima, Kelly 271.
Transfer flaps 40, landing speed of 124. That's now been transferred into my primary flight display. Arrival is on runway 16, ILS to 16 with the MAB 6L. MAB 6L. $11,000-foot runway, plenty long for us. ILS 1085 on the radio, 160 on the course.
Cathay 271, for descent, flight level 70. Descent, flight level 70, Cathay 271.
Well, 1085 is already on the radio. Okay, I don't know how that happened, but I'll take it. I think her hand is stuck there from a previous checklist. Christy, might need to be reset. Not sure how to reset Christy. She's not a plug-in. Yeah. Well, Christy, I think you're going to be holding your arm there for quite a while, I'm afraid.
Thousand to level off.
1,000 to go.
Direct German guys, is that in 5
Well, we have our routing here, and no matter all the changes we made on our air traffic control program, it's still showing that spaghetti of an arrival. You can see that spaghetti of an arrival, but I'm going to pay no attention to that spaghetti. When we get close, I'll just hand fly it, take it away from the automation, and we'll land with what we have on SimBrief, so it'll be fine. There we are, still over the English countryside.
KLM 536 after active Sierra Papa Lima, descent level 70. Active Schiphol, send to 70, KLM 536.
Ryanair 43 contact London Control on 118.47. Have a good morning.
Center on 118.47 Ryanair 43. I would like to have a cup of coffee right now.
Well, I would like you to solve your little arm issue that you're reaching up and...
Center
There you
Ryanair 43 at flight level 350.
Yes, you're...
Ryanair 43 good morning. Radar contact.
You fixed yourself. I'm very happy you corrected yourself, Christy. Let's see if we can finish that checklist. After takeoff, below the line. You just don't like that checklist, do you?
Cathay 271, call approach, 19055.
19055, Cathay 27, we're getting.
Well, if that checklist is going to break you, then I won't worry about it. I can see by your eye movement you're not totally frozen up.
Channel 567, past 295, descending 260 to Artip.
Channel 567, this is Artip, expect 18 right.
Artip 18 right, Channel 567.
And 567, keep your speed above 290, please.
Speed above 290, coming.
Bumpy, I can hear the cabin rattling a bit, but we'll give the folks a chance to get out of their seats.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has now turned off the seatbelt sign. You may now remove your seatbelt. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be soon serving you with cold drinks and a light snack.
Over the English Channel we are. heading for Amsterdam.
Goedemorgen, KLM 88 Juliet out of 305, descending level 260 inbound to Artip.
Well, KLM 88 Juliet, clear to Artip, expect 18 right and speed 260 knots.
Speed 260 and wiper, KLM 88 Juliet.
Looks like a grid pattern in the ocean. That's interesting. Yeah, the story of, talked about the charts were a private company called Jeppesen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're currently at a cruising altitude and the weather's looking pretty good. We should have a smooth flight and we expect to land approximately 15 minutes ahead of schedule. If the weather continues
Ryanair 43 contact Amsterdam Center on 119.17, enjoy.
Back to relax.
Center on 119.17 Ryanair 43.
Transat 3 traffic to House.
Inbound House at Transat 3 off.
Center Ryanair 43 at flight level 350.
Ryanair 43, good morning. Radar contact.
Just changed over from London Center to Amsterdam Center. Here we're going feet dry on the European coast. As I was saying, Jeppesen was a man who lived in Denver, Colorado, and during the early airmail days there was a lot of airplane crashes because of bad weather, and the pilots were flying visually then. So Jeppesen, on his own, he was an airmail pilot, he would make up these handmade charts telling about runway lengths and runway directions and some of the obstacles on approaches, and he was a very meticulous man. He had an analytical mind and an architecture type of hand for drawing. His charts became popular with other pilots. He would sell them, and that became the start of the Jeppesen company, making aeronautical charts. And then actually the early airmen would prefer the Jeppesen charts over the charts made by the U.S. government. And eventually the U.S. government gave approval for airlines to use the Jeppesen charts or the government charts in their operations.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the main cabin, we will be starting our meal service very shortly. We have two selections of entrees. We have a penne pasta with a cheese and tomato sauce. The other selection is a chicken with vegetables and a rice stuffing. We will be following our meal cart service with a beverage cart, and we do ask, If you are eating, as a courtesy to those behind you, if you could bring your seat up, just to let those behind you room to enjoy their meal.
Not sure what type of sound changes have been made to the latest Zibo mod where the engines go silent when you're in a particular orientation to them.
Ryanair 43 contact Langen Radar Center on 118.75. Have a good morning.
Center on 118.75 Ryanair 43.
Kilometer Juliet descent, level 11.
Center Ryanair 43 at flight level 350.
10.
Ryanair 43 good morning. Radar contact.
Flight level 110, Juliet.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be shortly starting our in-flight entertainment system on the screen in front of you, and also on the screens at the front of the cabin. You can also turn on additional features such as subtitles, as well as change the language using the remote.
Ryanair 43 contact Frankfurt Center on 127.6. Have a good morning.
Center on 127.6 Ryanair 43.
Well, we're about the halfway point of our journey.
Center Ryanair 43 at flight level.
KLM 80 descending level 260.
Alright, KLM 80 Zulu, continue to no consider no smoke arrival. Runway is 18 right, and keep your speed at 270, please.
Speed 270, inbound Norcoot, for the knockdown from left side, KLM 80.
I'm terribly hungry. Let's order a pizza.
Yes, let's order a pizza. Good idea. Nice to see that you're back to yourself. Christy?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the first or business class sections, you will find the controls for your reading light, call button, and the in-flight entertainment system on the inside of your armrest. In the economy cabin, these controls are located on the top of your armrest. To adjust your seat, push the button beside the panel. Toilets for the passengers seated in economy cabins are located in the front, middle, and rear of these cabins.
Rainbow, Transavia 737 X-ray passing flight level 84, climbing flight level 130.
Transavia 737 X-ray, climb level 250.
Climbing flight level 250, Transavia 737 X-ray.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your enjoyment during our flight today, we have placed a complimentary copy of our in-flight magazine in the seat in front of you. If you wish, please feel free to take this with you when you leave.
Have you heard the progression of the latest airliners. As you know, most conventional airliners now have a crew of 2, a pilot flying and a pilot not flying. That has certainly not always been the case. Even looking back not terribly long ago, it would be very common for an airliner to have a crew of 3. Pilot, first officer, and then a flight engineer. And the flight engineer would take care of the hydraulic system, the electric system, the engines. He would be an integral part, he would often handle the radios, integral part of the flying. But with the advent of modern automation and the advancement in aircraft, the flight engineer position has now been eliminated, mostly by the software in the aircraft. Well, I guess this is only rumor at this point, but I hear now that there is going to be a further advancement in aeronautical engineering. The latest generation of pilots will no longer have a crew of 2. They're now going to go down to a crew of 1. Well, that's not entirely true. The newest airplanes will be built for a pilot, and in the seat next to the pilot will be a German Shepherd. And the pilot's job will be to monitor the aircraft's engines and systems and switches and to make sure that the aircraft is performing within established parameters.
I hope we don't crash. Last time was not enough.
Yes.
Ryanair 43 contact Munich Center on 120.65. Enjoy your morning.
Center on 120.65 Ryanair 43. Center Ryanair 43 at flight level 350.
Ryanair 43 good morning. Radar contact.
So the latest generation of airplanes will have a pilot and a German Shepherd. And the pilot will monitor the instruments and the systems and make sure that the aircraft is operating within established parameters. And the German Shepherd's job is to bite the pilot if he attempts to touch anything.
728 kilo, descent level 70, active Sierra Papa Lima. Level 70, active Sierra Papa 2 kilo.
Ryanair 43 contact prog control on 118.37. Enjoy your morning.
Center on 118.37 Ryanair 43. Center Ryanair 43 at flight level 350.
Ryanair 43 good morning. Radar contact.
Transavia 737 X-ray, Omelo.
Omelo, Transavia 737 X-ray, dank u.
Launch Center, Ryanair 4-tree, request flight level 050.
Ryanair 43 negative. Your requested altitude is below the minimum for your route. Descend and maintain 5,500 feet altimeter 3039er.
Descent and maintain 5,500 feet altimeter 3039 Ryanair 43.
KLM 28 kilo, contact Lambda 9055.
United 055, KLM 2.
Elevator down. Let's go to max brake on the brakes. How about a descent checklist, Christy?
Descent checklist. Pressurization.
Landing altitude is 600.
Recall.
Recall is checked.
Auto brake.
Auto brake is maximum.
Landing data.
Landing data is 40 on the flaps, 124 on the speed.
V reference 124. Minimum Sparrow 800, set. Descent checklist completed.
Wonderful.
Calibratie 6 direct to Sierra Papa Yankee.
Direct to Spike 4, 567.
So after Nerdo is our waypoint for our turn. The next waypoint after that has a 5,000 foot altitude constraint. And because of the spaghetti with air traffic control, I'm going to do the turn. I may have to cancel my IFR flight plan. Now in North America, Class A airspace is above 18,000 feet. You have to be on a flight plan to be in Class A airspace. I don't know if that same standard applies in Europe, but we can fly without a flight plan below 18,000 feet. And when we get close to our arrival airport, we can call for clearance into the Class Bravo airspace. On a visual flight plan. Of course, I believe in real life, airliners are always on an IFR flight plan, even in visual conditions. Or what we call in the United States, we call it VMC, visual meteorological conditions. There's people sometimes confuse IFR and VFR. those are a set of rules, but IMC and VMC are the weather conditions. If you're in VMC weather, you can fly in VFR rules or IFR rules. If you're in IMC weather, then you need to be flying IFR rules. Does that make sense?
Kilometers you left, you're
Are you married?
C5, descent
My friend, I just want to know.
235, flight level 70, KLM 80.